YouTube and Instagram. I'm being consistent on my YouTube, and wanting to be consistent on my YouTube. So welcome to whoever joins me. And yeah, let's look at the 411 of the cray cray of the world. I posted a picture up on my Facebook and Instagram, and it is New York City. And then it has on top of it, tall buildings, there is a pole for strikes from lightning, and it shows the lightning strikes on all these buildings. And then, of course, a little of, of the shoreline of New York City with the Statue of Liberty. Welcome to Saturn entering into Aries. And it's going to enter this afternoon, I think at 4:41 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. This is, yeah, I mean, it's going to be at 0 degrees. Neptune is at 0 degrees 38 seconds. So they're conjunct, but they're not exact. And it's that exact conjunction that everybody in the astrological community is looking at within the astrology community. And we, because I mean, for Saturn to ingress back, hasn't happened since 1989 in June. And I had to really think about what the hell was I doing in June 1989, because tomorrow's my wedding anniversary. And so I would have been married just 2 years, being married, I think 87, 88, 89, yeah, 2 years. It was, yeah, it was pretty crazy. A very crazy energy and a very crazy time. And then I didn't get pregnant to the following year and had Dom in October of 90. So the changes, definitely. I mean, this is a time of dissolving, a time of things the transformation happening. And these transformations are, with Neptune, are going to be those lightning strikes on top of a building. And some people don't have their antenna out there to absorb the shock of what is going to be coming down. I drew the Tower card 2 days in a row. Think about that. And I was thinking I know, somewhere in between my dream state and everything else, I was thinking of the tarot and the energies of the tarot. And the Tower card came up in my dream as well, like in that state of, of contemplating the tarots. And the tarot card is, I mean, for some people, they're like, oh, I'm not afraid of it. Come on, bring it on. It's not that I'm afraid of it. I just know what it means. And, for my life personally, whenever it came up. When we moved to Calgary, I think every time, not every time, but much of the time when I was doing readings for myself or doing readings, the tarot card was a card of my life. I was living the Tower card continually when we moved to Calgary. And yeah, and others run, definitely. Yes, they do. And my life was, and I trying to figure out what that was meaning, that whole structural energy. And now in hindsight, it's always in hindsight that you really see what that Tower card was, and how that the stability wasn't there. Everything was off the charts with so many things in our life. It's amazing we made it through. Let's just say that. It's amazing I made it through. It's amazing I, am still here, and because of the experiences of what we had and what we were living through, um in that house, with the kids, with just so many things that were going on at that time with us, and just trying to find some kind of stability. Yet I don't know if when you look at it, it's like, do you want the stability? Right? Because that's the whole thing, and that's what's happening now. It's like you get so used to living in chaos. You get so used to living in that energy, right? In that system that it's like, bring it on. Like, okay, I just know this is going to be disruptive. This is going to be crazy. This is going to be, and so you learn to constantly live with a fright and flight energy, right? And now we're coming into a time where these frequencies are really having us to enter into a not fright and flight, but a surrender of what can I structure? How can I structure this? What is that? And not and but right now it's like not to push it. It is allowing whatever is there that it doesn't work, that you're grabbing onto it on a continual basis, dissolves. If something shows up there to help you along the way, definitely go upon that train. But if it doesn't, that's fine. And that's what we have to look at. That's what we have to what we're dealing with in this world. Because there is going to be many chaotic craziness and structure changes. The one thing that, the spiritual community is really going to have a hard time with is because they're always wanting some utopia. And when you look at the astrology, there's no utopia within the astrology. I mean, yes, there's times of calm and peace and stuff, but that sense of like there is no evil, you got to be nice to everybody, and it's all love and kumbaya. And I've said since, I don't know, forever it feels, that there is no kumbaya. There is not, it isn't that. And the astrology even shows you that over and over again, that we are in a system that is chaotic, that is crazy. That's why you have goddesses of destruction and gods of destruction, because they've been there. This is because they show you that it's through these destructions, it's through this chaos that you can create things, that beautiful formation comes through. But in order for you to go through that, and before order for you to have that, you have to allow for those towers to crumble. You got to allow for that hard drive. It's done. No longer works. We're entering into a new hard drive, a new system. That's why there is wars. That's why there is starvation. That's why there is these different things that happen in the world. And as humans, we have to look at it and say, okay, that is a part of the world. Yes. And those who are trying to ignore it, those that are trying to grab hold of it and not want it to change and grab onto the kumbaya, are about 60 to 70% of the population. Think about that. They're the ones that are grabbing onto it. They're the ones who don't want to look at anything that is crazy that is going on there. Or we don't want to investigate that. Okay, we'll tell you about this, but the population it's too overwhelming. Same with when they started talking about the UFOs and everything. It's like people shut down. The thing that happened in the mall, what was it, 2 years ago in Florida? Like, where did that story go? Right? I mean, all those police cars and everything don't show up for a mall brawl kind of thing, right? No. Security in the States carry a gun, right? So these types of things, like our system is in real overload, and the system overload is having us be the system has to be overloaded in order for it to basically get out. Right? That's too much. I can't do this and I'm going to get it. I need to bring in something different. I need to bring in some new format of system, of how I'm going to create, how I'm going to do what I need to do within my life. If you've ever taken art school, and one of the things that many of the artists who that I know who've taken art school have told me is like their teacher, their instructor would say, "All right, if you're used to creating with your right hand, now for this next month, you're only going to create with your left, or you're going to create with your feet." And you think, "Well, that's stupid. Like, why would I want to do that?" Because it gets you out of what you're used to, gets you out of the norm. It's like if you decided to just as a challenge to brush your teeth with the opposite hand of what you're brushing with every day for a week, that actually reprograms your brain, right? And many times it's like, well, I can't brush with my left, it's too awkward, right? Because I'm used to brushing with my right hand. But that's where this energy is. The energy saying this right hand brushing your teeth no longer works. We're putting the brush in your left hand. And putting the brush in your left hand is going to get you to look at things in new ways, create in new ways. But in with all the overloads that are coming in and the downloads that are coming in, it is hard on the nervous system. It is overwhelming on the nervous system and the frequencies that are coming in. So we have to have those groundings. We have to have those times like, okay, this is too much electricity coming in because it will be. I can guarantee you with that Saturn and Neptune conjunction that's happening next week and the solar eclipse that is going to happen just before, it's a lot of downloads. It's a lot of energy coming through us. And you're probably already feeling it. And that disruptions, those hard drives, those new softwares that have to come in, have to happen and bring that chaos in our world. As much as we hate it, we don't want to talk about war. We don't want to talk about AI. We don't want to talk about aliens. We don't want to like it's like you just I just want to make sure everything in my life is safe and sound, right? But the thing is that if that's part of where you are, and I know we're all like, yes, I want to be safe and sound and financially secure and everything being fine and just go with the flow and just love life for loving life and sing kumbaya. Unfortunately, that's not where we're heading. We're heading for those tower moments. We're heading for those destructions. We're heading for it so that we can rebuild because you can't have the star card afterwards or the new world afterwards without having that tower, without the death card that comes there before or the devil card, right? You need those cards because those cards are a reflection of what are you hanging on to that needs to die away to bring that new that destruction, that craziness, right? In order for we to step into a newness, right? And the thing is that when you look at it, especially the tarot, and I love teaching the tarot because the tarot talks about our journey, right? And how we go through things and how we create. And then we have those little fillers, of the cards coming in. And the fillers, as they come in, they're showing you that, yeah, there is life that has to happen. And in that life that has to happen, you can't sit there and grab hold of last year's growth. Like you can't go into, hello, everybody, you can't go into the garden and pick the tomatoes that you're trying to grow last year. Well, one, they're not there. If they are there, I don't think you want to eat them because they're probably rotten, right? So you have to take that out. You have to destroy it in order for you to have a nice new beautiful plant. Right? And if you don't do that, that's where you get a lot of craziness. That's where you get a lot of destructions. And right now, I mean, today, Friday the 13th, woohoo, It's, it's important to know what the future could hold. It's your sense of responsibility. Yeah, but right now, right now, um, you can't hold on to the future. It's the thing is that to hold on to the future, if you're wanting to hold on to the future with this energies, you're going to be extremely disappointed because your ego wants it to be a certain way. And this isn't about egos having it to be a certain way. There are responsibilities, but some of those responsibilities and those values and everything that we have are changing. And this is where we are crossing a line. And we are 1 week away from a historic conjunction that hasn't happened in 4300 since 4300 BC. So what we think the future is, what we want the future to be, is not going to be what it's going to be. And that's where we have to allow for the ego to dissolve. And we have to trust, and we have to go inwards, and we have to come in to that inwardness and trust in the higher powers. And that is going to bring chaos. That is going to bring war. That is going to bring in things that we don't like. And it's going to be hard. Right? Kind of like a Mad Max time. And Mercury's in the pre-shadow of going retrograde in Pisces. This is a lot of delusions. And this is where if you're hanging on, I was listening to a program about the stock market and how everybody's like, "Oh, it's just going to go up. It's not going to just go up. This is what happens." Right? If that's what you're putting your energy into. And I know it's hard to hear. I know it's frustrating because you're like, "Well, I'm doing all the right things. I'm being the good person. I'm putting all my eggs in a row. All I have everything. I got my stockpile. I got this and I got that." All of those are really good things. And I'm not saying not to do them. But the thing is that when we're looking at it, and if I'm hanging on to that and that possibility, that's going to save me. This is where things are dissolving. Saturn has been dissolving things for the last 2.5 years. Our beliefs, our illusions, our spiritual bypassing, our false promises, our ego wrapped in fantasy. Right? Pisces said, surrender to the river. Now in Aries, it says, who are you without the illusions? Right? Who are you without those illusions? Because this is the same thing as when people were lining up and saying, well, this is going to save me. If I take this is going to save me. I'm going to be safe. Everything's going to be fine. Yeah, all the world's going to go back to normal. Did it? Did it? What was that illusion that people were hanging on to? They're hanging on to an illusion, right? That whatever they're going to boom into my arm is going to save me. And the world is going to be okay. And everything is going, I'm doing the right thing. If you built your identity on something that was never structurally sound, Saturn in Aries is going to test you. And it's not going to be gentle. Saturn is not a gentle dude. And same with Neptune. It's not gentle. It is disruptive. And this is where I've been saying this for so long, where when I do say these things, when I do come out and give you the information, many people get angry, they get frustrated, and you got to sit there and like, why am I what is that trigger that just happened? I get triggered all the time. And I have to look at it. It's like, why is this happening? Why is this going? And it's like, okay, I got to let it go. I got to dissolve it. Many times your mind's like, "Well, I gotta go and find out what are they doing over here, right? What are they doing over here?" And it's like, "No, I don't need to know what they're going to do over there. It's none of my business." Is war happening? Hell, yeah, it is. Will we be seeing it soon? Yeah, very soon, within a month. And I think that's going to, where people think if you think you're safe where you are, maybe you're not, because it's not going to be as safe as what you think it is. Oh, if you just put it there and I'll grab it. It's not going to be as safe as what you think it is. And that's the part, because your ego is saying, "Well, I live here, I'm going to be safe." Not necessarily. So this is where, Aries is the spark. The I am, the identity, the warrior. Saturn entering Aries is the audit of the ego. No punishment, no doom, but accountability. And because Mars in Aries, Mars in Aquarius, there's a strange tension. Don't follow the herd. Don't fight blindly. Don't try to force the river. You cannot muscle your way through Neptune conjunction. You can't bully the fog. You can't out ego the the disillusions, right? And this week we walk straight into the fog. So this week is like, don't try and push things. Don't try and make things the way you think they should be. Go for a walk. Sit by a tree. Let it go. I understand you want things to be in order. You want, you have responsibility. But if you're looking at the world right now, you think your responsibility is, yeah, I got to pay my rent, I got to pay my mortgage. Okay, yeah, you got to have that money flowing. But what's to say that it's going to be there tomorrow? What will you do when it's not there? That's the unknown that we're entering. And it's scary, right? So you could do what you can do. That's it. Right? And this is not manifestation. This is not a new chapter vibes. This is what needs to end. What control patterns are dying. And you're going to witness with the ones who want to keep control and the explosions that are going to happen with it. The ones that want to keep control over the banking system, over everything in the taxation system, your land, the ownership of your land. And the ego might panic, but you promise me, this is ego, like, you promised me this would work, and this was supposed to look different. And that's what you're going to be battling. And Saturn says, show me the structure. And Neptune says, let's dissolve it. It's rust going into the water. Like, it wasn't stainless steel. Let the rust come off. So, what we're going to be waking up to as the sun is squaring Uranus, and sun in Aquarius is within a few degrees of that square. So, we're going to call it a square. Shock, disruptions, wake up calls. And if you're clinging, it will feel unfair. But here's the raw part. When you're misaligned with your soul, everything feels unfair. When ego drives relationships, or ego drives and the relationships distort, reality feels like a betrayal. And Saturn Aries will not support inflated identity. It supports earned identity. So if you just been like, well, having it done, this is the way I've always done it, and that's the way it has to be. So there's compassion versus the ego world, and here's where we get deep. The battle now isn't habits, it's identity. Your ego may scream, it may fight, it may want to prove, and that's where compassion becomes radical, because personality fractures and projections happen when identity feels threatened. Saturn says grow up and Neptune says melt. And this could hold compassion with dissolving ego. That's mastery. And You said, you know, it feels like things are being built, but they are not yet built. More is coming down than going up right now, and that's where we're at. And Saturn Neptune conjunction is historic. I mean, the last met in 1989 and walls literally fell. When these two meet, structures dissolve, systems reset, collective narratives crack. And now it's happening at 0 degrees Aries, the world axis. This is the ignition point. This is subtle, but it is going to be bumpy. And this is where you got to go and trust, and trust the divine wisdom, right? So in pulling the cards I pull in, it's very raw, it's very crazy. That tower, um, the tower is not drama, it's architectural correction. And it's a false stability exposed. And the ego built the scaffolding and it's collapsing, right? I thought it was solid. I was doing the right thing. I was taking the responsibility for what I'm doing, but it's dissolving. It's rust in the ocean. And the tower and Neptune all day. But here's the key, this isn't punishment, it's misalignment being revealed. It's looking at this doesn't work for me. It's like, oh, I stay up till 3 o'clock in the morning and I go to work at 6. Okay, that's a misalignment. It doesn't work, right? Something's not going to be, something there is going to fall apart, right? And anything built on illusion won't survive the contract with truth. And Five of Wands reversed, it's the internal. It's that internal fight, the ego fighting, trying to argue with reality, trying to defend it and be mad at me because I'm saying things. This is, and say like, well, fuck you. That's not no. I'm doing the right things. I have to be responsible. And I'm not saying not to be responsible. I'm not saying not to be that, but it's to look at the things in your life that you feel are responsible, or you feel are the right things, or you thought they were the right things. That was the belief system that you had. That was the truth that you hung on to, and it no longer works. And if you built your I am on validation, expectation, old promises, spiritual fantasy, or control, that's the tower, baby. And the Five of Wands reversed, stop battling the recalibration. We're entering the fog. It's going to dissolve. New structures are going to be built, not right away. The tower clears space for the star, and the star is Aquarius. And what exactly where the sun is heading into the eclipse energy. This is cosmic sequencing. And the raw truth people need to hear, something is ending. Not because you failed, not because you're cursed, not because the universe hates you, because it's outdated. And if you try to hold it, you'll feel the shock harder. If you feel like that corporate job, that job that I have, this is what I have, I'm going to have that in the next year, the next it could be all gone in an instant. And that's where this energy is coming in. Where you believed, oh, well, I have RRSPs, I have this, I have all of these investments. It could be gone in an instant. Those are the things that they're looking at. What are the things that are tangible? What are the things that are here that you can do and hang on to? And if you allow it, you step into a new structure faster. What to do with this energy? Don't provoke unnecessary conflict. Don't try to prove yourself. Don't cling the collapse beam. Watch where the ego wants to defend, right? Let the exposure happen. Saturn in Aries is long term. This isn't a 1 week transit. This is 2+ years. Identity restructuring and the tower showing up and it with the ignition. So it feels raw. I know. And I know the tower says, "Let it fall," and when the dust clears, you'll see what actually, what's load bearing, and it won't be what you thought. This is real astrology, this is real initiation energy. We're not playing around anymore. So here we go, loves. Hang on. We're gonna be okay. It's just gonna be very frustrating and overwhelming for many of us, me included. Like, that unknownness, that where are we going? What's going to be happening? Is this going to be where I can, thinking that, oh, I can get a job doing this. Can I? Will it be there? I don't know. But I just have to allow and let it flow. Where it goes, I have to allow it to unveil itself. Very frustrating. This is bringing in, um, yeah, a lot of soulfulness for us. So, anyways, I'm gonna have my breakfast or brunch, I guess. It's almost 10, and I'm gonna send out so much energy. So may the Lord and the Lady watch over and bless each and every one of you in all you say and all you be and all you do. Blessed be everybody. Thank you for joining me, and my heart goes out to everybody. You know, um, I know I could see that this would have been. This is um, a video that really will piss a lot of people off or really frustrate a lot of people, and I understand that, and I'm sending this out with love. Bye-bye. Have a good one.